Hello everyone, welcome to the Makri Virtual. Hope you are doing good. Today I am going to continue with your same module, that is the business skills for e-commerce, and the same chapter, that is chapter number 3, that is the internet service providers. In the last class we have discussed what are the types of internet service provider accounts, that is with the help of which we can access the ISPs, that is the internet service provider. So what are the accounts available for internet service providers, right? So let's start the discussion about the what we have covered in the last class and then moves to the today's topic, that is a continuation of the uh, ISP account, that is a least light connection, that is a today's topic. So first of all, let's take a quick review what we have covered in the last class. So we have started with 3.7, that is there are types of internet service provider accounts, that is a type of ISP accounts. So there are many types of connections a user can get on the internet depending upon the type of usage and amount of resources, that is a money available. So it depends on the type of usage and the amount of money, amount of resource, that is a money available, that is a internet service provider accounts. The different types of connections, their advantages and limitations have been discussed below. That is every account has a different limitations, different advantages, that is given below. No matter what type of connection you go, and it should be reliable, fast, easily available and economical. There is no such things as a free connection to the internet. Someone somewhere has to pay for the equipment, software, telephone lines and electricity. That is, someone has to pay for the account, someone has to pay for the duties, someone has to pay for the different account, that is that the internet service provider takes. So basically there are few types of connection that is available for the internet, like dial-up connection, ISDN, least light connection, cable modem, DSL, broadband, VSAT. So these are the various types of connections for the internet. In the last class we have discussed two types of connections, their advantage, their providers or their benefits, their limitations, their features we have discussed in the last class. So first is the dial-up connection. That is a dial-up connection. As the name advice, dial-up links means you have to dial into the modem over a telephone line before you get connected to the internet. That is, before connected to the internet, you get a telephone line that is connected to the, first of all, we have to connect to the modem. So a modem is a device that is installed between the telephone line and the internet. And modem acts as a mediator between these. That is, whenever there is analog signal and digital signal. So modem converts analog into digital whenever there is a requirement of the digital signal. And in the same way, modem converts digital signal into analog signal whenever there is a requirement of the telephone. So modem converts the analog into digital signal and vice versa. That is digital into analog signals. At the receiving end, there is another modem that is converted, that is demodulates the things, that converts the transmitted analog signals back to the original form, digital form, which are received by the target computer. For this type of connection you require, that is whenever you need this type of connection, like dial-up connection, you at least require configuration that should be of 80486, but the best is Pentium 4 or above. Communication software like dial-up or dial-up, which the internet connection provider will give and the telephone line. A modem that is of optimal speed is of 36.6 kbps. These days we use a modem that is gives the speed up to 56 kbps. So these are the various requirements that is used. Now then we have studied that what are the three ways, that is what are the three ways by which you can get linked to the internet using a dial-up connection. That is, there are three major ways by which you can get linked to the internet using a dial-up connection. What are the names of three ways by which we can get the internet connection with the help of the dial-up? One is host terminal connection, then individual computer, then dial-up on demand through the labs. So there are three parts. Now let's start. The first one is host terminal connection. Another name is terminal emulation. So this said, in case of host terminal connection, that is a terminal emulation, a PC is connected to some internet. That is, a PC is connected to some internet capacities. That is, a computer is connected to some internet host via medium or via modem, and terminal emulation program is run. So whenever we say that it is a terminal emulation, in this case a PC is connected to some internet host, that is a PC is connected to the internet via modem with the use of modem, and a terminal emulation program is running. So your program now acts as a VT100 terminal. In other words, you are connected to a large computer which is connected to the internet. So hence a host terminal connection is also referred as a shell connection. So we have studied that what are the different criterias, or what are the different suitable methods in which this account is suitable. Which account? That is a host terminal, that is a host terminal account. So it is suitable for the students whose budget is low and the requirement is limited to text. Then users who connect via telnet programs. Then users whose frequency to use the internet is low. Then users who want to use the internet to access the network of their workplace from their home place. Such users could connect via telnet. Jobs whose multitasking, or when multitasking is not required. So these are the various cases in which the host terminal runs. That is, whenever there is no requirement of the multitasking, we need the, or we use the host terminal connection. So this type of connection offers three different types of accounts, depending upon the distance upon the ISPs. So this type of connection, that is the host terminal connection, provides or uses, or they have a different types of connection that is available. It depends upon the distance from the ISPs. What are the three ways, or what are the three types of connections? One is local ISP, that is a local dial. One is a use of public data network. Next, restricted access. So there are three parts. One is the local dial, one is the use of public data network, one is the restricted access. In local dial, it is the cheapest and the longest way, or it is the cheapest and it only possible if the host is at a local telephone call distance away. So it is the cheapest method that is used, and it is possible only, that the local host is possible only if the host is at a local telephone call distance away. Then public data network, that is, if the host is not in the vicinity, then long distance calls have to be made over public data network. That is, one is a local dial, that is a local area. Then public data network, that is publicly it is available to the over the network. Then restricted access account. Then the second part of the dial-up connection that is uses, or that we use for the dial-up connection, next is individual computer. That is, there is a direct downloading of the files and mail which are connected to the or which PC is connected to the internet. So here your computer can work as an internet host. That is, a computer can also work as an internet host or a computer host. That is, direct downloading of files and mails can be done when connected to the internet. That is, the direct downloading of the files and the mails can be done, or mails can be used when connected to the internet. This type of link is a little more costly than the host terminal connection. So this type of connection that is available is more costly than the suitable connection, than the host terminal connection, as you have to pay a monthly fees to the service provider, or sometime even a flat charge for a fixed period of time. So this is a very costly method. Why? Because you have to pay the monthly charge. There is an individual computer. Every individual has got the different services. That is the private services. So this is very costly method. And this provides one of the more following accounts. One is the SLIP, that is a serial line transfer internet protocol. One is a PPP, that is a point-to-point protocol. So one is the SLIP, that is provides the speed of the 9600 Bpps. Then point-to-point protocol, that is the telephone lines via the modem. This type of connection is good for people. That is the individual computer is good for people who wants to download, or who generally uses the use the graphics, download the files very often, use direct email or any other online service, then use internet regularly through for limited hours. Then C part is, that is the next part of the dial-up connection, that is the dial-up on demand. That is using the dial-up, that is there is a dial-up connection that is on demand through the LAN. So in this case, there is a direct, or there is a dial-up link from the LANs to which you are connected to. This type of connection is favorable for small business houses and educational institutes. Which type of business? which type of connection? That is a dial-up on demand connection. So this is suitable only for the small business houses and the educational institutes. Here the server on demand dial up for a connection, and once the connection is established, everybody logged onto the LAN can access the network. So whenever there is a server that is on demand, then dial up for a connection, then uses the dial up for a connection, and once the connection is established. So first of all, dial up a connection, and when the connection is established, everybody logged onto the LAN can access the internet. That is, anyone can that is linked with the internet can access the files. So that is a dial up on the demand through LAN. So first of all, make a connection with the LAN, then move forward, transfer the data from one part to another part. Then we have studied about second topic also, second part of also, that is the ISP account. Second part, that is the ISDN, that is Integrated Services Digital Network Connection, that is the ISDN. This is very high speed connection to the internet over normal telephone line. So this is a very high speed connection that is provided or that is available with the internet over the normal telephone lines. It combines both voice and digital information in a single media or medium. So it combines both the voice and the digital information that is available in a single medium, making it possible to provide the customers with digital as well as voice connections. So it also possible to provide the customers with digital as well as the voice connection. In ISDN connection, the information which is sent from the computer to the internet is digital. So whenever we use the ISDN, that is the Integrated Services Digital Network, so the information that is sent from the computer to the internet, that is the information that is sent is in digital form. Here we do not use a normal modem, but we can use the ISDN modem, and that is very costly, or that is a very costly when we use the ISDN modem. So when there is a power shutdown, that is whenever the light has gone, there is a power shutdown, ISDN lines will not work. ISDN service has a many variations, but we have to follow basic rate interface, that is a BRI service. That is, there are multiple parts of the ISDN modem connections, but we generally use the BRI service, that is divided into logical channels, multiple logical channels. Now what are the multiple logical channels? It is divided into two logical channels, that is two types or two 64 kbps B channels. So there, whenever we use the ISDN, that contains the two type of channel. One is the channel that contains the two 64 kbps bearer channel, and one 16 kbps D channel. So one is two two B channels and one D channel. So two bearer channel that is of 64 kbps and one D channel that is a data channel that is of 16 kbps. These are the two requirements for the ISDN. So therefore, ISDN is commonly referred to as 2B plus D, that is a two bearer channel and one D channel. Over bearer channel, you can send the data. If only data is sent, it could be sent at a speed of 64 plus 64. So whenever there is a requirement for sending the data, so 264 plus 64, that is a 128 kbps is used for sending the voice and the data. Sorry, for sending the data. Then the next point says, apart from the voice, many value added services also been offered, like this one. So it contains the two channels, one is the D channel, one is the B channel. Then we have studied what are the advantages of using ISDN. That is, allows the high speed access, that is around 128 kbps. And there is no special laying down of wire, that is, there is no requirement of the wire, that is the existing copper wire work fine. That is existing the telephone wires that is in use, that finds well for the ISDN. Then it can be used, that is the ISDN can be used for the voice, data, graphics, full motion video, as well as the data transfer is high. But one of the limitation is that it is an expensive affair, as special equipment is required for it, and the traffic is also high. So this is one of the limitation, that is the traffic is high, as well as there is expensive ISDN modem that is required for the connection. Then the third part is the leased line connection. So we have covered the dial-up connection, we have covered the ISDN connection. Next part is your leased line connection, that is a dedicated connection. That is a proper connection is maintained, a dedicated connection, permanent connection is maintained, that is laid down whenever we use the leased line connection. So it is a permanent connection that is laid down between you and a modem. That is between the user and the modem there is a proper permanent connection that is laid down. As it is a permanently lined, you have a 24-hour access to the internet. So it is a permanent network, it is a permanent line, so there is a permanent connection. So you have to cover, or a user can access the internet, or user can access the connection 24 hours a day or hours a day, 7 days in a week, and 365 days in a year. A leased line connection is very useful, especially when information or frequent information has to be accessed from the internet. That is, a leased line connection is very useful, that is available especially when frequent information has to be accessed from the internet. That is, it is a connect this type of connection is very useful when there is a frequent connection, or there is a requirement of the information that is accessed from the internet in a frequent basis, and also when the volume of data transfer is high. So this is one of the important advantage or usefulness, that whenever there is a requirement of the frequent information that can be accessed from the internet, and when the volume of data transfer is high, so we need a leased line connection. So in simple terms, in leased line connection there is a dedicated connection that is dedicated to a particular user, and only that user can use that connection anytime, that is 24 hours a day, 7 days in a week, and 365 days in a year. It is also useful if the internet is to be used for more than 12 hours a day. This type of connection is the most reliable and high speed connection. So this type of connection that is available is one of the reliable connection and the high speed connection. The only issue behind this connection is its cost. That is the only issue, is that as there is a particular dedicated line that is given to the user, so the cost is very high, because if there are 5 users, so we have to give the 5 dedicated lines to each and one individual. If I'm saying about 5 users, it may be 5, it may be 10, it may be 50. So whenever there are a large number of users, so we have to give the different dedicated lines to different users, so that also increases the cost. The only issue is that the cost. Now the cost includes, what are the types of cost include? As I say, there is a dedicated line that is available. This says one time installation, that is at least one time installation is required, that is the laying down of the physical wires or physical lines to the website. That is also a cost, that is there is a proper dedicated line that is available to different users, that is a proper one time installation of physical lines. Then yearly, periodically maintenance charge, that is on a year basis, on a periodic basis, there is a proper maintenance charge that is required for the leased line connection. Then annual traffic, that is the annual traffic means there is a there is a large number of traffic, because there is only one line, dedicated line to the user, so every traffic is going through that line also. Then the necessary one-time hardware, software and setup charges, that is a one-time software charges, hardware charges are used in the case of the leased line connection. I'm just coming within 2 minutes. The next part is, that is the fourth one, that is the cable modem. So we have covered the leased line, we have covered the dial-up, we have covered the ISDN. Now the next type of internet service provider or internet service provider account is cable modem. That is, we have used the cable modem for the internet connectivity. So this says, in case of cable modem, the internet can be accessed through the normal coaxial television cables. That is, in case of cable modem, we have used the cable, we have used the simple cable wire that is used for the television cables with the help of the cable modem. That is, in case of cable modem, the internet can be accessed through the normal coaxial telephone cables. That is, it is used with the normal telephone cables, coaxial cables or coaxial telephone cables with the help of cable modems. The speed of cable modems is generally or usually 10 to 100 times faster than the normal dial-up modems. So the speed is very high as compared to the normal dial-up modems. What type of speed? That is, it is around 10 to 100 times faster than the normal dial-up modems. The only catch is that the local cable operator should have the capacity or should have the capability to access the internet over cable TV wires. That is, if you are using the cable TV wires, that's a telephone wire. So the cable operator must have a ability or capability to access the internet over cable TV wires, and that cable modems are slightly more expensive than the modem or normal modems. This is also a disadvantage. That is, whenever we use the cable modems, so whenever we use the modems that is using the coaxial cable, that is a cable modem, that is slightly more expensive than the normal modems. One advantage is that you need not have to have a telephone lines if you want this type of connection to the internet. That is, there is no requirement for the telephone lines if you have to consider this type of connection while connected to the internet. Then before giving approximate traffic or tariff rates for the different types of connection, let us discuss the role of VSNL, that is Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited. It is a gateway to internet in India. So it is a gateway or it is an internet service provider in India. It is an internet service provider so that a user can acquire a connection from it. Until recently, BSNL was the only gateway or gateway of internet in India. But now we have another private network or private gateway that is available, namely New Convergence. So there are few gateways available for the internet connections, that is using the cable modem. For example, the VSNL, that is a Videsh Sanchar Nigam Limited, and one is New Convergence. This organization also have some very good offers like faster downloads. Which software? That is New Convergence is the software. It's an organization that also has some good offers or like faster downloads. Now let us discuss the role of an ISP. That is, what is the role of an ISP or what is the role of an DSL, not ISP. So in simple terms, whenever we use the cable modems, so there is a wire that is used, or there is a wire that is used for the coaxial cable, that is used for the internet connection. So in case of cable modem, the internet can be accessed through the normal coaxial television cables with the help of cable modems. Speed of cable modems is usually 10 to 100 times faster than the normal dial-up connection modems. So speed is very high, that is usually 10 to 100 times faster than the normal cable modem. The only catch is that the local cable operator should have the capability to access the internet over cable TV wires, and cable modems are slightly more expensive than the normal modem. That is, it is more expensive than the normal modem that is available, but the advantage is that you need not have a telephone connection or telephone line if you want to use this type of connection, that is a cable modem connection. Then this is a VSNL, that is a gateway to internet in the India. It is an ISP. Now the next is DSL, that is a digital subscriber line. It is also provided through the existing telephone lines. So it is also used with the telephone lines. So it is provided through the existing telephone lines that is available with the user, but it works differently than regular analog modem dial-up access. So DSL is also a service that is available with the telephone lines, but it is slightly different, or its working is different from the normal, or that is a regular analog modem dial-up access. DSL operates over normal telephone lines. That is, whenever we use the DSL, it operates over the normal telephone lines, and it can be accessed or used simultaneously with the telephone. That is, DSL operates or DSL uses over the normal telephone lines, and it can be used simultaneously, or it can be used simultaneously with the telephone. That is, we can use the telephone as well as the internet whenever we use the DSL. But when we studied about the dial-up, so that is a limitation. What is the limitation? We can access either the internet or we can use either the telephone line. That is the limitation. But whenever we use the DSL, that is the digital subscriber line, so we can use the internet as well as the telephone simultaneously. DSL can increase the connection speed. So whenever we use the DSL, it increases the connection speed by as much as tenfold from a standard dial-up modem. So it increases the speed from at least 10 times than the standard dial-up modem, that is a standard modem that is available for the internet connection. Next is sixth one is broadband. That is the next part. This type of access is good for remote locations. So this type of access means broadband is also better or good for the remote locations where ISDN, cable or DSL are not available. So this type of access is very good for the remote connections whenever there is or whenever there is not availability of the ISDN or the DSL. It gives a decent download speed, but to upload the data, the user still need a regular analog modem to dial in. So it has a decent, that is a ISDN or DSL have a decent or sorry, the broadband have a decent download speed. But to upload the data, that is whenever I want to upload the data, the user still needs a regular analog modem to dial in. That is, the user still needs a regular modem or analog modems to dial in via a telephone line. Satellite connections can be either a two-way service or a one-way service. That is, satellite connection that is available that can be either a two-way service or that can be either a one-way service. In case of two-way satellite service, the data is transmitted via satellite. So whenever there is a two-way satellite service, the data is transmitted via satellite to a dish antenna at the user's house. So whenever we use the two-way satellite connections, two-way satellite service, the data is transmitted via satellites. That the data is transmitted via the satellite connection to the dish antenna at the user's house. So whenever I applied the dish TV at my home, so there is a satellite that is available at the top of the my house. So it provides the data is transmitted via satellite to a dish antenna at the user's house. In a one-way system, the user needs a conventional modem. That is, whenever we use the one-way system, so the user needs a conventional modem and a telephone links to an ISP. Satellite connection is more expensive, but sometimes it is the only fast option for the people who are beyond the service area of cable and DSL providers. So satellite connection, I agree, is very expensive, but sometimes it is a faster way for the people, or it is a faster technique for the people who are beyond the service or who are beyond the service area of the cable. That is, who are beyond the cable services and DSL providers. So this is the broadband. That is, whenever we use the broadband, it is more familiar or it is more good than the ISDN or the DSL because that is very costly. And when we use the satellite broadband, the best example is the satellite connection or satellite communication. So the satellite gives the data to the dish antenna at the user house. In one-way system, it uses a conventional modem and a telephone line to a link to an ISP. Satellite connection is expensive. That is, it is expensive, but sometimes it is very reliable for the people who do not need to access the cable modem or the DSL providers. Then the seventh one is that is the last one is how sorry uh, very small aperture terminal. That is the next part. That is the last part. That is the seventh part. That is VSAT. That is the world's very small aperture terminal. Aperture terminal. Yeah. The two ground stations that communicate with one another via satellite needs not be a same size or transmit data with the same amount of power. That is the two stations that is available or that communicate with one another. So if there are two stations that is available that communicate with each other or can communicate with one another via satellite, needs not be of same size. That there is no requirement that it is of same size or transmit data with the same amount of power. Many satellite network uses a large number of dish TVs or small dishes. There is a many satellite networks uses a large number of small dishes known as the VSAT. That is, most of the satellite communication or satellite network uses a large number of dish TVs or dishes that is known as the VSAT. That is a very small aperture terminal. For the all outgoing nodes and one central hub with a big dish that can transmit very powerful signals. So it is used for the outlying nodes, that is, it is used for the outgoing nodes, outgoing computers, and there is one central hub also with a big dish that can transmit very powerful signals. That is, there is a big dish that is available that can transmit very powerful signals and is very expensive for the incoming ones, and it is very expensive for the incoming signals. This system minimizes the cost of the majority of the ground stations at the expense of the maintaining one big one. That is, the system minimizes the cost of majority of ground stations. That is, it minimizes the cost that the ground station uses at the expense of maintaining one big one, which can be shared by one several users. That is not installing multiple small computers, but installing one big one that can be shared by multiple users. So this minimizes the cost of maturity of ground stations at the expense of maintaining one big one, which can be shared by several users. However, this approach can cause additional delays, but the VSETs are not popular enough to talk to one another. That is, this approach can cause additional delays, or this approach can cause additional delays, or because the VSET are not powerful enough to talk to one another directly through the satellite. That is, it causes the additional delays that is available. That is because VSET are not popular enough to talk to one another directly to the satellite. Messages must pass through the hub and must make two trips into space before reaching their final destination. That is, the VSAT are not enough tool, or not powerful to talk to the one another through the satellite, and must pass through the central hub, or must pass through the hub and make two trips into the space before reaching the final destination. So it reaches through the final destination by using a double delay. That is, there are two types of delay that is available. This is a double delay that is used for the dealing with the network. That is a double delay. That is Inkara double delay. VSETs are typically used by the organizations such as oil companies. So VSETs are typically used by the organizations such as the oil companies that requires data or voice communication. So it is used by the organizations such as the oil companies that requires the data or the voice communication between sites distributed over a wide geographical area. Um, then next point says terrestrial links are economical over short distances. That if there is a terrestrial link that are more economical, cheaper than the short distances, their cost climbs quickly as the distance between location increases. In addition, terrestrial data and voice links, while readily available in cities, are often difficult and if not impossible to obtain in a smaller urban and remote local areas using these links. That is, VSETs are very small aperture terminal that is used for the various linkages, that is used for linkages, that is used for the terminal, that is a very small terminal that is available for the goods and services. So this is the VSET, that is a very small aperture terminal that is used for the sending the data using the very small terminal, that is a very small terminal that is available for the aperture terminal. So this is the seventh, that is the last topic, how to, or last part, that is how to access the internet connection, or how to use the internet service providers. So let's stop over here only. Then in the next class we will discuss next chapter, that is next topic, that is how to select internet service provider. That is, which internet service provider is better one, which ISP is better one. So till now we have discussed what are the types of internet service provider accounts. That is, first one is dial-up, then there is a leased line, then there is a ISDN, then there is a cable modem, then there is a broadband, then there is a VSET, and then there is a one more is left, broadband DSL. This is the DSL. So these are the 7 parts of the internet service provider accounts. Then next is how to select, or what are the criteria to select the ISP. That is how to select the ISP. That is the next part. that is 3.8, that will be discussed in the next class. Then after this topic, there is a summary, that is the next part, that is available. So we will covering this chapter in the not in the tomorrow's class, in the Monday's class. So because tomorrow is a weekend, that is a Saturday and Sunday, so now your class will be on Monday. So we will be covering this chapter or this topic on the, or we will finish this chapter on the in the Monday's class. So thanks a lot everyone for listening me, and bye bye everyone. If there is any doubt, you can text the doubt or you can ask the doubt from me at any time, anywhere, either through email, either through chat. So thanks a lot everyone. Bye bye.